was passing by him, I just like smiled at him, waved at him, and he waved back at me. It was such a cute moment. He didn't care about anyone, he didn't care about anything. He was just there enjoying the moment. And that made me think. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you my top learnings that I had across the 3 countries that I traveled for my education. Now for the ones who have no idea what I'm talking about, I mentioned in my previous video just like a little bit. I'm going to just mention that again, that I did this course called as Luxury Brand Management and Marketing that had me travel across 3 different countries, which was Paris, London and Shanghai. It changed my life. It changed me as a person. I don't remember anything that happened inside the classrooms, to be very honest, but I remember everything that happened outside those classrooms. All the learnings, all the experiences that I had, it's just so fresh in my mind that I'm going to be sharing all those things with you right now. So let's just get into the video. The number one thing that I learned in Paris was that it's okay to be a misfit. When I reached Paris, I had these preconceived notions. I wanted friends and I wanted a big group. I wanted to hang out and I don't know what all things that I had in mind. And I went there just to realize that I was a misfit. I did not fit in or gel in with anyone. Like I was having the hardest time finding someone who would vibe with me or who would share the same energy as me. And that started to literally take a toll on my self-confidence. It started to take a toll on how I was feeling about myself. I started to question myself, was there something wrong with me, or am I like not the person I thought I was? Because all my life I thought I was really good with people. With time I realized that how important was it for me to understand that it was totally normal to not fit into a group of people. And then when I connected the dots, in fact, I realized that I was always this way. If I did come across a big group of people, I would always gel in only with 1 or 2 people. That was always the case with me, and that helped me reflect and understand the person I was. Initially, it took a big toll on the way I was feeling. Like I said, I would just spend my days just grieving and thinking, where have I come and what am I doing? I don't fit in with anyone, I don't gel in with anyone. Because if you get along with every single person that comes across you, then you have a problem. If you don't fit in with everyone, it's completely fine. And I used to believe the opposite earlier, but it totally changed my perspective. I do not gel in with everyone, I do not vibe with everyone, and that is a fact. I have tried this over and over again, but in a group of 20 people, I would probably only gel in with 2 or 3. And those 2-3 people would be the ones who would be there with you always, you know, those kinds. Number 2, things might not turn out the way that you expect them to always. So like I just said, I had these assumptions before I even went there that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but the whole scene was different. Everything was so different that it was like a shock to me. I learned that you always have to be prepared for things not going your way, because they will not always go your way, and that is a fact. Number 3, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. I did not believe in myself when I was there. Like I told you, my self-esteem took a major hit in the first 4 months. I had never felt so low in my entire life. I had never felt like I wasn't worth anything in my entire life, and that's what I used to feel in those 4 months. But then I also understood with time that if I wouldn't believe in myself, nobody else would. It used to show in different sort of ways. For example, if we were doing a group assignment or something of that sort, because of my low esteem, my ideas wouldn't come out and my energy wouldn't be there like how it would be there usually. Basically, I didn't believe in myself, and that's why nobody else believed in me either, and that will always be true. Whatever you see yourself as is what other people are going to see you as. And that brings me to my 4th point, which is this: whatever you see yourself as is what other people are going to see you as. If you are confident, if you are all put together and you believe in yourself, that is exactly how people are going to treat you. If you respect yourself, people are going to respect you. If you love yourself, people are going to love you. It's as simple as that, really. And I've experienced it. Whatever I have felt about myself is what I have always experienced in the way that people treat me. When I went and I owned the place, that's how people people treated me. And when I went as just like a victim and with low self-confidence and all of that, that's how people treated me. Then moving to London. After sulking for 4 months in Paris about how I couldn't find anyone, I reached a point where I didn't need anyone to keep me happy. I realized how valuable it is to spend time with yourself and not having to need anyone to fill the gaps that I was feeling before. I became this person who would cancel plans with someone else just so that I could spend time with myself, or exploring the city, or go for a meal alone. For some of you right now, this may sound even crazy, but trust me, I've had meals alone, I've gone for movies alone, and I've just had time with myself, and I cannot tell you how liberating that is. Trust me, not everyone is able to do that. I used to create my own experiences. I used to go out, I used to talk to people and just feel content in myself, because I feel it's better to spend time alone than to spend it with someone who you're gonna have awkward silences with. I hate awkward silences. People who you can share silences with comfortably are my favorite kind of people, but you don't get that with everyone, and that is a fact. And there, I did not get that with anyone. Even if I have a friend or two, I did not have that relation that I could share these comfortable silences with. So I would just go and be with myself. And as of today, I love being by myself. I mean, it's not like I hate being in a company. I wouldn't be relying on someone to make me happy or make me entertained or whatsoever. Next is, don't underestimate the power of long walks, music, and good food. I can't tell you enough about how these three things got me out of my bad days, worst days when I was there. Long walks is a therapy for me. Every time I'm angry, I'm furious, or my head is not in place, I just go out for a walk, and that literally calms me down. Honestly, the days that I used to feel extremely low, these three things could lift me like nothing else. I remember this one day in London that I wasn't feeling myself, and I went for a walk. I started to walk, and then I saw this lane which was like a very secluded lane. There was no one really there, and I put in my earphones, full volume, high vibe music, and I started to dance, and I just danced my heart out. And it was so much fun, I can't tell you. Literally helped me release everything that I had in my head. And then I went home, ordered a pizza, put the drapes, put the curtains in my room, made it a little dark, put on my favorite show, and that was it. My day was sorted, and that's how I used to get out of any bad day. Next is, I learned the importance of exploring a new city without having any agenda. I met so many people along the way. I remember this old uncle was sitting in some park, and I asked him to take a picture of me, and then I made him take boomerangs of me, and then we started to talk, and then he told me how something about his daughter, and then we just had like a nice chat. I took a picture with him. I got to know a little bit about him, and it was so refreshing. It was so nice. And every time I just started to walk in a city without having any plan for it, I had much better experiences than what I would have had I had a plan in place or whatsoever. Was that right? Next thing I understood is, don't care about what people think of you. I can't forget this one time that I saw this man in a park. He was just singing on top of his voice, and he was smiling and he was laughing. When I was passing by him, I just like smiled at him, waved at him, and he waved back at me. It was such a cute moment. He didn't care about anyone. He didn't care about anything. He was just there enjoying the moment. And that made me think how free this guy would be to be in a place, in a public place, and not care about anyone. I think that was the start of when I stopped caring about what people thought of me. I mean, it was 2 years back, so now I've come an extremely long way. Next is that kindness has a ripple effect. People had so many stories that they told me that London is very scary, be careful, this is what's gonna happen, that's what's gonna happen, you might get pickpocketed, and God knows what all things. I only met the best people in London. I also remember talking to people who other people neglect. So homelessness is one thing that's very prevalent in London. I used to see these people sitting, and some people used to look just as fine, and I remember talking to some of them and trying to understand what happened with them, where are they coming from, what are they doing here, and all those things. But every time I used to talk to them and share a thing or two, they used to have such wonderful things to say, to share. It was like a ripple effect, because that used to make my day, and that used to spread some joy in their day as well. Everywhere I went, that of course had a ripple effect in the way that I spoke to people, in the way that I conversed with people, and it went on and on. Moving to Shanghai, the number one learning that I had was what you put out in the universe is what you get back. So I'll tell you something. My international friends in Shanghai were having the worst time ever in terms of the experiences that they were having, the conversations that they were having with the Chinese people. They would be shooed out of stores if they didn't buy. The cab drivers would yell at them for no apparent reason at all. They were getting mugged, they were getting robbed, they were getting conned. And there I was. I had the absolute best time. I got the perfect house, I got the perfect landlord who literally listened to each and everything that I wanted, and he got it for me. He even took me out for lunch the first day that I was there in the city, because it was obviously a little difficult for me to go around. Main reason I felt was that my international friends were cribbing all day long about how they don't have this, how they don't have that, how Chinese people are mean to them, rude to them. They were finding faults in every single thing there, and that was reflecting in the way that they were interacting. It was reflecting in the way that they were coming across people, having a conversation, and all of those things. I was only focusing on the good, like I'm not even kidding. And I was talking about how this is amazing, how that is amazing. I literally had that experience. One of my Chinese friends even asked me, how are you enjoying really, and how is everyone so nice to you? And I just smiled. I didn't know what to say, because it's difficult to explain these things to people. But I knew what was happening. I was emitting this positive energy out there in the universe, and that is exactly what I was getting. Next is, a smile goes a long way. You don't need to know any language if all you can do is spread a smile. I didn't know Chinese, obviously. I used to use Google Translate to talk to everyone. It was really, really tedious. Even if I had to buy like a teeny tiny item in a store, I would have to like type into Google Translate, then show it to them, then translate what they are saying back. That's how we used to converse. But my life got so easy when I started to just smile. Everywhere I went, I just smiled. And that was like the icebreaker. Because if you're new at a place and you just go around asking for help, people can get a little annoyed. But if you just smile through, it makes everything so damn easy. So smile is like a universal language, you guys. Next, I realized that we are all the same people inside. We went to this city called Hangzhou. We had this amazing night filled with random people. It was just the two of us, me and another Chinese girl who went in that club, and we walked out as I think some 10 people. But after we spoke, I felt we were all made up of the same emotions. We were all made up of the same feelings, because no matter what we show to the outside world, inside we are the same sort of people. We are the same people who feel the same things, who go through the same things, who have the same insecurities, who just are the same people. That helped me feel so connected to them. For the first time, I felt like we literally are one, just in different physical bodies. Next very big learning that I had was gratitude. I learned the importance of gratitude and being grateful for everything when I was in Shanghai, especially. I did not have food to eat there. I used to eat some veggies and boiled chicken soup every single day. Everywhere I went, there was something new that I was grateful for. It could be my insecurities, it could be my body, it could be the fact that I had money, it could be the fact that I had a roof over my head, or just so many things that I can keep going on and on. Really, when we step out of our houses, our comfort zones, is when we realize, or at least I realized, that life isn't as easy for everyone as it's for me. I mean, for me, I was living in my comfortable house all my life, not knowing about how people see the world as too. But when I stepped out, I saw so many things that made me feel grateful for everything that I had in life, because not everyone had that. Not everyone had the things that I had, and maybe 10 times lesser than what I had, but they were still so happy, still so grateful. And I was just asking myself, why can't I? Next, what I learned was that rejection makes you stronger. In Shanghai, I spent one of the toughest times of my life. My confidence got hit majorly because I was being rejected from everywhere, and I prepped myself up for through Paris and London, went literally down the drain in Shanghai. It reached a point when one day I wanted to quit. I wanted to just leave everything and come back to India. but that would have been a coward move, really. So while I could have gone into a victim mentality, just telling myself that this is not how I wanted myself to be like, and this is not how I wanted to approach the situation, changed everything for me. I wanted to fight till the very end, because now that I had put myself in that situation, I would rather make it till the finish line and not back out before that. And that's what I did. I made through it, and I felt super proud of myself, and just made me so strong as a person. And the last point, there are no coincidences in this world, especially in terms of people walking in your life. Every single person who walks in your life has a purpose. I understood this when I was at the airport and I ran out of cash for whatsoever reason. I transferred it to my dad a day before. It was so stupid of me. I don't know why I did that, but I transferred all my money to my dad, and then I was just cashless, and the airport officials wanted me to pay a certain amount of fine, otherwise I just have to like leave my luggage. And there weren't many people really who I could have reached out for help in that moment. I thought of my roommate who I shared a house for 3 full months, but I think we only spoke for the number of times that I could literally count on my hands. He was a Chinese, so it was very difficult interacting with him anyway. All we did was just like share a smile or two, or just give something to him once in a while if I made something worth eating. So those were the kind of interactions that we'd had, but he had no reason to trust me whatsoever, especially when I was going back to my house in India. He was the only person who came to my rescue. He transferred that amount to me in the blink of an eye. And I thought to myself that, is this why this guy came into my life? I could have stayed at any other place. I could have had a different house. I could have had a different roommate, but I didn't. I had this guy who maybe was supposed to help me in this situation, and that's why he came in my life. And similarly, every single person who walks in your life has a purpose, has a reason. He walked into my life like an angel, and he rescued me like an angel, and I would forever be grateful to him. I can never ever forget him, and I made sure that I told him when I returned him back the money. That is about it. Those were my learnings that I had across these 3 countries. I would only like to tell you guys one thing, that if you get a chance to travel all by yourself, please do it. It will change your life. Stepping out of my house and living alone was one of the best things that I have ever done to myself. You would realize that the world is so much bigger than what you thought it was. Your problems are so small in front of other people. So yeah, that is about it. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below, and I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.